Much for your patience. I do appreciate it. We are jumping into the next game though, so this should be a lot of fun. Morrow currently 1-0 on Destiny, and are we going to see Morrow just kind of dominate that game again? Because it kind of felt like he was dominating.
He did do very well. He did take quite a bit of damage at the start that put him behind. However, sorry, he didn't take the damage. Sorry, I got completely mixed up. It was those Widow Mines that really were able to just pin Destiny and do a huge amount of damage. In the mid-game, though, Destiny was able to bring it back a bit by killing off a lot of tanks for very little damage of his own with some great blinding clouds. However, he wasn't able to do the normal Zerg harassment to Destiny. To Morrow. So Morrow was able to get the economy to be able to resupply that mech army.
Yeah, I mean, Morrow doing such a good job at containing Destiny with the Widow Mines at the start there. Brand new use for them in this patch, because obviously the Widow Mines would not contain in the last patch, because they would be suicide units. So you might get a couple of drone kills, etc., etc. But other than that, you just wouldn't get it. So, a brand new use that has been invented a couple of hours ago. Morrow just leading the innovation there. Very, very impressive.
And it's a big risk of him to use a unit that has literally just changed in a tournament where there is a €400 prize pool, and I really admire that about him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just showing you that how quick a unit can change at the moment, because Blizzard could introduce a patch tomorrow where the Widow Mine reverts, and all of a sudden, all those brand new kind of strategies you've just come up with changes. And again, it can be used the other way. Blizzard introduced a patch a couple of hours ago, and Morrow's already found a use for the Widow Mine. That is just absolutely insane. But of course, we are seeing a slight variation in Morrow's build from last game, and of course a slight variation from the Wings of Liberty metagame, where he has gone gas first, and we haven't seen that in a long time. Could this be a Reaper opening? Because Reapers at the moment is a little bit different again.
Reapers are quite good at the moment due to their new upgrade, which gives them vision up cliffs, which makes them amazing at killing workers and amazing against Zerg, because they can dance up and down against Zerglings. So the only thing that can really kill a Reaper for Zerg is the Queens, but they do have that range upgrade from a while ago, which does make it a bit easier than it would have been a couple months ago if that update hadn't been made.
Yeah, definitely. And we do see the factory coming down, so it's... I don't know what this build is going to be. We're soon going to see with whatever add-on.
There's the reactor.
So it's going to be a super quick Hellion, which is
I think we may see a
case.
similar build to last time. We may see Hellion into Widow Mine.
Yeah, I mean, we might even see very, very super fast Widow Mines as well, because now they can be used aggressively. You do not have to use them defensively or to control space. So, Morrow is just innovating around this patch. This is very, very impressive. And of course, Zerg hasn't changed for, in a major way for 2 or 3 Heartless Swarm patches now. So Destiny is kind of, sticking with what he knows. And, it's kind of, what comes down to it. Is it going to be experience or innovation? And talking of innovation, we're seeing a proxy starport from Morrow.
If this is just going to be this could be so... Oh my god, are we going to see what I think we're going to see? We may see Widow Mine Hellion drop.
We might see a Widow Mine Hellion
There's
drop.
another... Oh my god, we're seeing Hellion and Widow Mines being built. One Hellion, one Widow Mine.
Wait. Drones have 40 health.
Oh, so they're going to get one-shotted.
With the splash damage.
I really hope that's what we're going to see. I think that might be what Morrow's thinking. Starport's about to complete, so we will see what comes out of that. Hellion, the Widow Mine has completed. There is another Hellion now on the way. There's 2 more Hellions on the way, actually. Widow Mine is shuffling its way across the map. The Hellion is already complete.
So quick.
Yeah, they need to get in position. And there's the medevac. We're going to see it.
Oh my god.
We're going to see it. In the meantime, there is a Hellion in the main base right now. It's trying to do some harassment, keep Destiny on his toes. It's going to get at least 1 worker before it does get out of there. And Destiny's still managing to keep on top of his injects. And the Widow Mine is going into the main base. It's making its way through. And it's borrowed. The Queen doesn't kill it, but the Hellion gets a good couple. Is getting a good couple burns off on those drones while they're trying to escape from the Widow Mine. This is great, using the Widow Mine to drive the drones to where you want them, and then using the Hellion to do the damage.
Would you see a medevac loaded with 2 Hellions dropping into the main?
The Widowmine's about to finish up its charge and possibly do some damage in that expansion. It will finish up soon, but at the same time, the Hellions doing so much damage right now. The Queens have just popped out to do some damage. And here we go. Widowmine does get a shot off. It does do a bit of damage. Hellions being forced to micro, though, being picked up in order to escape the doom of that many Queens. That is a lot of Queens.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Queens are very, very good against Hellions, but they almost get one-shotted by Widowmine. So, you know, it's just a little bit crazy right now. The amount of damage that, you know, early game harassment, especially early game factory units, can actually do. Morrow is actually able to expand behind this.
This is crazy because with one unit...
And another Hellion, 2 Widowmines making the way to the back of the main! This could be absolutely devastating! 1 bonus! Oh my god! That was a lot of kills!
It's just died. We have kill count. The medevac does get out of there and a couple more units...
I think my voice broke. That was that exciting.
It just went through puberty, through the excitement right now. But as I said, as I just wanted to mention before, with just one unit... Morrow has managed to shut down all mining to the natural expansion. Spawn Corner is about to finish, but then another mine will go off in the main base before that happens. Here it goes. Oh, he unburrowed just before it went off. He could have got a bit more damage done, but that Widow Mine is now going to attempt to escape, but it does get picked off. All the Widow Mines have now been cleared up, but that harassment just did so much damage to Destiny's economy and his timing.
Yeah, definitely. And not to mention the fact that the Widow Mines have just devastated everything. It's stopped mining, you know, it's allowed Morrow the map control. It's just absolutely insane the amount of damage that these new Widow Mines can do and how quickly Morrow has realized the
potential.
Exactly. I mean, it's absolutely amazing how quickly these pro players can pick up the brand new aspects of the game. Destiny now scouting the factory, but the starport, but the Viking is already out and causing damage. Morrow continually making these Widow Mines. I mean, this is absolutely insane. It seems like the Terran early game is completely revolved around factory tech now, which is a lot different to what we've seen. We usually see the factory tech used to control the map a little bit, you know, get an expansion, etc., etc. But now it's being used aggressively in the early game. It's a completely different spin on Terran.
It is a completely different spin on Terran, and that was crazy. We both just got way too overexcited there, and I think we just deafened the stream. And while this has happened, both players have actually managed to expand. Destiny's expansion is now up and running, even through all that hecticness. There is something in the back of the main. What is that? Oh, that's 2 more Hellions doing a bit more damage. They are being chased out by the absurd amount of Queens, though. So we are going to see those Hellions get out of there.
2 Widow Mines burying just on the edge of the creep as well. Again, Morrow just using these Widow Mines so effectively. I mean, I think we found Morrow's brand new favorite unit.
I think so. We're seeing them all over the map right now. He's just shuffling around, putting them in different positions, making sure his opponent can't really get that much map control. Widowmine is now the map control unit. This is what they were meant to be when they originally made them. They called them a map control unit. But with them being a suicide unit, they couldn't really fill that role. But now they're not a suicide unit anymore. They're definitely filling the role that they originally intended. And they're filling it very, very well.
Yeah, definitely. But again, through all this harassment, through all this crazy innovative strategy that Morrow is doing, Destiny is playing extremely well. He's keeping up in workers, and after losing a grand total of 24 so far, that is quite a good feat. Morrow just denying Destiny a chance to even expand to his third base by putting Hellions, Widow Mines, you know, Hellions guarding this expansion here. Widow Mines are kind of stopping any sort of expansion going down here as well. So Destiny, even though he is being pressured, you know, Morrow's leaning on him extremely hard right now with all these brand new strategies, and Destiny is doing such a good job at keeping up, you know, keeping up that production, and hopefully he'll be able to expand to his third very soon, because that is going to be the pivotal role in this game. If Destiny can take a third safely, which he is attempting to do now, then this is the way this game progresses. But Morrow, just so good, making a command center of his own as well, expanding to that third base about the same time Destiny is. And of course, you know, if a Terran gets a third base a lot quicker than a Zerg, it does kind of snowball into a horrible effect for the Zerg player to actually get out of. So it's going to be a difference. We do see Hellions making their way again. Morrow being so active with all these units, doing such a good job at denying mining, denying Destiny the chance to expand, and keeping him on his toes as well. And that's exactly what Morrow should do with all these brand new cool units and options that the Terran does have now.
Absolutely, and he's just doing such a great job, and Destiny will be able to get his third up. But the question is whether he'll be able to start mining from it. And that, I think, is the key part of this. Because even if he starts mining, if we see exactly what we just saw, we see a Widow mine go down, or we see these Hellions rush in, which looks like they're going to try and poke in, see if there's anything mining, see if there's any way they can sneak in. And we're going to see another Roach take a hit from a missile there, but it does not matter. And Destiny is beginning to start mining from that third base. But how long can he keep mining from it with Morrow being so active on the map as he is? And Morrow is just teching up this mech so strong, and he's getting the +1/+1 upgrades for his mech at the moment, and it's going to be so deadly.
Yeah, definitely. Without as the mech, the upgrades for a mech army just increase its cost efficiency, and as we all know, the mech army is extremely cost efficient. Destiny seriously needs to clear up these Widow mines. They keep taking pot shots at his roaches, and we do see the Overseer being morphed in now. But that's very, very irritating as a Zerg player to just have your army kind of sitting around and then just get shot. So yeah, Widow Mine's just doing a great job there. We do see Hellions again making their way into the back of the third base.
They're not going to escape this time. That was the Hellions' last mission. He was one day from retirement. However, the Roaches were for once in the right position and were able to pick those off. And we're also seeing the Locust enduring upgrade, so we may see some Swarm Host out on the field very soon.
Yeah, I mean, Swarm Host versus Mech almost seems like the right answer on paper, but it's getting them into position. I mean, what they can do, of course, is the Locust can, constantly perform provide a role of harassment, but it can also be used to, get those tank shots on something that doesn't mean anything. Of course, if the Locust take his tank shot rather than your army, it makes such a massive difference. And I think that's what Destiny's aiming for right now. Unless he just plans to, stop Morrow taking the map, he's going to use the Swarm Host for map control and harassment of this, potential fourth base. So we'll see how Destiny plans to use them. I mean, it might even be a mistake because we don't actually see any Swarm Hosts on the map just yet. Hopefully we will see some, and we can see one of these new units in action, and hopefully in a very, very clever way.
Indeed, we're also seeing a Hydra Den, and as you were mentioning, he can use this Locust for map control and to take the tank shots, because Locusts have always been meant to be used as a siege breaker unit.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what Destiny can do. He's been pinned in his own little area, he's just been slowly expanding. If he can just break through and take full map control, then he's going to be in a great position. He does have a bit more map control than he did before, and it looks like we may be seeing... Was that tanks that loaded up into that medevac, or was that Hellions?
Sorry, which medevac?
There is a medevac heading out across the map at the moment.
Yes. It's full of Hellions. Yes. So the medevac is going to spot, of course, this Overlord spreading creep here. Destiny's now going to know that Morrow is planning on expanding here, and Destiny in reply is getting some Hydralisks, he's getting some Vipers. We're going to see a very, very similar unit composition. Apparently, Roach Hydra Viper is now the answer to mech, guys, and that's absolutely astounding.
It seems to be in Destiny's eyes. He seems to have abandoned the idea of Swarm Host, went for it originally, but appears to have ditched it now. However, we're seeing both players getting their 2/2 upgrades for their respective units. However, Morrow is a little bit ahead in that department and is just building so many units. We're seeing 3 tanks about to complete, 3 Hellions about to complete, and he's just getting command centers, so he's just going to be able to sacrifice...
Sorry to interrupt you, Chris, but there is a double Hellion drop in both the natural and the main, killing so many
just killing
workers.
Everything. 55 workers killed.
Morrow, absolutely astounding play there, just killing absolutely every mining possibility of Destiny. He's denied expansions throughout the whole game. He's killed workers, he killed expansions, he's took map control. Morrow is shaping up to be a very, very good Heartless Swarm player.
He has probably been the one of the players who's been streaming it the most over this time, and it's showing. This has been an incredible play by him. We're seeing Planetary Fortresses on the way. We're just seeing we're just seeing command centers go down everywhere right now. We're seeing another 2 go down. We're seeing another 2 factories go down. There's an orbital command and a planetary fortress morphing. This is just crazy. And swarm hosts are on the way. We're seeing 6 swarm hosts being built. This may be Destiny's chance to push his way out of this situation, or he could use them for defense, as we have seen in the past from other such streams. And here comes the free out of Morrow, though. This is going to make his mech pretty tough to beat. And Destiny hasn't started his. There it is, the +3 carapace and the +3 ranged weapons. This is just going to be such a great fight when it actually happens.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to see the 2 new Zerg units working in harmony very soon. And of course, as I said, the Zerg hasn't really changed a lot. Just minor adjustments. Not like, the Terran and Protoss units who have brand new abilities, etc, etc. So Destiny's had a lot of time to figure out this situation. We're going to see him use the Swarm Hosts and the Vipers in, unison here. And I'm very, very excited to see what he can actually manage with this. I mean, is there a technique of using these Swarm Hosts that we haven't figured out yet? Is Destiny going to show us how Vipers can defeat mech? We're seeing a lot of Locusts being spawned now, and they're making their way across, and they're going to just start picking away. I mean, these Locusts can actually take quite a lot of siege tank fire. That's very surprising.
That was a great positioning there. Destiny controlled those Locusts into the position where the tanks would do the most amount of damage to Morrow's own buildings. That was very clever by him right there.
Yeah, and look what we're seeing here. We're seeing Destiny use these great Viper pull there as well, using the Hydralisk to kill the Vikings, and the Swarm Hosts are now able to just keep producing these Locusts, and we're going to see them be able to form almost an entire small army as Destiny just uses these Vipers to pick forward units. This is very, very clever, but of course the Swarm Hosts are very fragile. Destiny being forced back right now. The Vipers doing a very, very good job of picking out key units, and the Locusts are doing a very good job at keeping Morrow back. But of course, we are seeing the Swarm Host count get lower and lower and lower, and it's almost like free mech is still really, really, really tough to deal with for Zerg without Broodlords, and Destiny, I think, is just trying every combination of units right now. And again, look at the Vipers just gathering energy. That's such a good use of that ability. If anyone doesn't know, the Vipers can use, can gain energy off of draining health, almost like a kind of vampire bat situation here. But Chris, what's going on right now?
We are seeing Morrow pushing his way up to Destiny's base. This is exactly what happened last time. He's just shuffling his way across the map, making it really difficult for Destiny to get the map control. He needs the tanks doing so much damage. We're seeing the Blinding Cloud go down on a couple of the tanks, but it's just not enough. The fours are taking a lot of damage, but the tanks in the back doing devastating amounts of damage. The tanks in the front are being murderized, though. So this is very interesting. The Vipers have all been killed off, though, by these Vikings. The Swarm Hosts are moving in. Locusts doing a lot of damage right now, but there's so many tanks left over. It's not going to be enough for Destiny. The supply count is fairly even, but I still don't think it's going to be enough. Locusts are managing to hold back Morrow, though. This could be exactly what Destiny needs. And what we're seeing here is a Swarm Host Micro. He's burrowing them, letting the Locust spawn, unburrowing, moving back, burrowing, letting the Locust spawn, moving back. This is quite clever of him, but during this time, Destiny's base is being killed, and there's nothing he can do about it.
No, definitely not. I mean, Destiny doing a really good job of using the Viper's blinding cloud there. But again, Roaches and Hydras are just extremely fragile, especially to free mech. So, you need to get those Vipers in there first, and that is why Destiny has been picking off the Vikings like, it was his only goal in life. Picking off those Vikings to stop the map control. And again, we're seeing a small skirmish here of Roach Hydra pushing back. The tanks are in siege, so they are going to manage to pick off quite a few. But as soon as those tank siege, it's a different story. Locust just melting there, unable to do a single thing. Morrow's tank count is actually just insane right now. He has 19 siege tanks. That is an unbelievable amount of siege tanks.
That is so true, and we're seeing 1-1 upgrades for Morrow's air units as well. So he's going to be upgrading these Vikings to help kill off these Vipers even quicker, and that's exactly what he needs right now. His biggest threat right now is those Vipers, pulling out his Vikings and killing them off really quickly, or pulling out the rest of his units. If he can kill off those Vipers really quickly, then he's got the great positioning, he's got the tanks, he's got the fours. He's going to be so well prepared, and we're seeing Hunter Seeker Missile and Corvid Reactor being researched too. This is a very similar composition to last game by Morrow here. And this is looking very familiar. We're seeing really early Widow Mines being used for harassment into standard mech play with just devastating results.
Yeah, definitely. And a massive blinding cloud by Destiny on the back of these siege tanks. He's picking off so many siege tanks. As long as that blinding cloud stays down, Destiny's going to win this engagement. Locust coming in from the other side as well. Oh my god!
The last remaining vestige of hope, and that's just going to be killed off so quickly. And Destiny, for the first time in this game, has taken a supply lead. We are going to see a 4-drop out of Morrow into the main base of Destiny right now. That is just so sneaky. I do love this kind of play. During this time, though, we are seeing 5 siege tanks, 2 Hellions, and the Hunter-Seeker missile being built. Vikings still being as annoying as possible, killing off Vipers, killing off Overlords. And even though Morrow is behind, he's just doing as much as he can to keep Destiny out of his hair. He's killing off Overlords, keeping Destiny supply blocked, which he is by a lot right now. Keeping Destiny in his base, doing as much as he can.
Yeah, definitely. And we're seeing some, just kind of weird situations where usually, if you've got a 4-drop, you get away because Zerg doesn't really have anything that shoots up. We're seeing Vikings drop as well, and Hellion harass on this base. Morrow has killed 70 workers this game. That's actually insane. But again, as going back to the last point, Zerg doesn't really have anything on the ground that shoots up generally in a ZVT, especially versus mech. So we're seeing Morrow having to make adjustments, like of course not dropping Hellions, because there's a Hydralisk about. And of course we are seeing now Destiny using these swarm hosts very, very effectively to kind of harass the bases and force Morrow to defend on 2 sides. I mean, a group of swarm hosts like this is a tiny amount of supply, but they can create a lot of units. And then of course Destiny's able to use his main army to swing around and attack bases. So this is exactly how the swarm host was meant to be used, in my opinion, and Destiny's doing a very, very good job of using them.
I couldn't agree more. This is exactly what the Swarm Host is meant to be used for. It is a siege breaker. He is just doing the slow, methodical push. The tanks have now sieged up, and they've been forced to. There's nothing else they can do right now. Hydra's pushing away this expansion of Morrow, so Morrow is going to start to fall behind in the economy a little. Destiny, however, does have the opportunity to expand again if he wants, while these Locusts have Morrow pinned. And we're seeing 5 Vipers on the way. He may start pulling out some of these siege tanks. While Morrow is moving out, going to try and expand again, but there's so few workers for Destiny at the moment. If we have a look, he has 55 workers. This should not be the amount of workers for the amount of bases he has.
No, definitely not. Morrow's just done such a good job of containing Destiny's mining, containing Destiny's expansions, and that is exactly what he needs to do. I mean, I'd love to see a few more drops, a few more Hellion run-bys, but Destiny's taking no risk. He's got roaches at the far base, spine crawlers just about everywhere. You've even got swarm hosts just denying Morrow a move out, and of course the swarm host can just now once again pick up, move back, burrow, let some locusts out and run away yet again. And the locusts are just going to force some of the swarm hosts actually getting stuck on the locust there. That's a bit weird. But of course the locust is keeping Morrow back, doing a little bit of damage, picking off a tank or 2, and of course for the cost of nothing. So these swarm
he may lose all his locusts here. He's being forced to burrow, but there are ravens. He is going to get the detection when he moves them forward. Tanks sieging up, and devastating damage. Almost all of the swarm hosts just died. That was horrific for Destiny.
Yeah, that was pretty bad, and as I just highlighted to the viewers there, the smudge of gross swarm host gut all over the pavement there from those siege tank shots, and that was absolutely devastating to use that amount of units. And not to mention just the units, it's the fact that now he doesn't have that large swarm host group. He can't do the multi-prong attack as well as he has been, and Morrow should kind of capitalize on that. But again, Destiny actually recovering very well considering the amount of workers.
Supply again.
Yeah, the amount of workers Destiny's actually lost. And we're seeing the Muscular Augments upgrade, which is the brand new upgrade for the Swarm Host, I believe. Where is that researching? Oh no, it's a Hydralisk upgrade. It's a Hydralisk
speed.
Move speed. Okay, right. We're learning. That's always nice. So again, these Hydralisks are going to be able to move so much quicker. But unfortunately, for Destiny, Morrow has done such a good job at cleaning up the creep. As you can see, Destiny's creep is just about on his side of the map.
Kind of isolated. He actually has blocked one of his expansions with his creep. The creep tube is blocking the places where the base would go down. So that is very unfortunate, as you can see there. So Destiny isn't in the economical position he'd want to be by now. He would have wanted to have taken that base.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, he will clean up his own creep, hopefully, but the Viper Swarm is out, and he's building up the Swarm hosts again. Destiny's showing us that these Swarm hosts are very, very effective at destroying, you know, the mech army, stopping it advancing, you know, stopping expansions. So the Swarm host is really, really playing a major role now in this versus mech situation.
That is true, and we're seeing a very interesting position. And how long has that command center been there? I think that was one that Destiny was attacking earlier, but he has flown it back in, so he's going to get a couple more mules, possibly if he wants to repair it. Locust once again is shuffling it in. Blinding Cloud goes down, so these Locusts will be able to push forward and do a bit more damage than they otherwise would have. But there is enough tanks in the back to do the damage needed. And there's so many orbital commands right now. We're seeing 2 more planetary fortress being built. We're seeing the air upgrades level 2. And is that building armor? We're seeing building armor on the way. You know this is the late game situation when building armor comes out. And Destiny is moving his way down to the right-hand bases. He's being very active at the moment with his units. Now he has that speed. He's able to move around the map a lot quicker. And this is keeping Morrow on his toes. And there we go. He's lured about position. He's going to go into the left-hand base again. And Morrow's on his way back. He's dancing around trying to deal with this. There is a point defense drone out, which is being really useful here. But there's so many Locust Hunter Seeker missiles on the Swarm host. And
they're very slow.
Oh, wow. Fantastic shot there by Morrow, getting a lot of the Swarm hosts with those Hunter Seekers. That gets rid of a big clump of that army, and there's a couple more Hunter Seeker missiles available. I think if he wants to try and get that army, there goes one, but that part of the army is confirmed. No, it's on the other Swarm host, so the splash damage might actually get a couple roaches. No, they don't die, but it does do a fair amount of damage. So really good shot there by Morrow, being so active with these Ravens. And at the moment they're just building up energy, whereas Destiny is using that Siphon ability in order to, that Consume ability, sorry, in order to get that energy out.
Yeah, exactly, but we are seeing Morrow's massive, well-upgraded mech army moving across. Ravens in support, Battle Hellions coming up the front, Vikings stopping any sort of air. The Locusts are being deployed, but they're just being melted. Destiny's going to form a sandwich here using Locust on one side and using his main army and the Vipers on the other, but I'm not sure what he can do. Maybe he can abuse this crevice here, get some blinding clouds down and sandwich Morrow's army, but I think that's about his last hope right now as Morrow is just creeping forward using these siege tanks to absolutely devastating effect. But we are seeing the Vipers come in, some good blinding clouds.
He has got the blinding clouds down. The army is pushing forward. There are some tanks that haven't been blinding clouded. They're doing so much damage. The majority of Destiny's army is already dead, and Morrow is rocketing ahead in supply. The 4 is in the perfect position, getting those Vipers, and G from Destiny, and Morrow takes the series 2-0.
Yeah, definitely. Some people are complaining about lag, but I'm not getting any on my end, so you know, it's streaming at 720p at the moment. If you can't handle 720p, then I am very sorry about that.